Hey lovers, how you doing? Good day wherever you are in the world, be morning, afternoon, or evening. Welcome to another exciting episode on Connecting the Mind and Soul, and I remain your host, Jumoke Ogunsuada. Now, today's episode, we're going to go real hard and deep. And the topic is, how well do you think you know your partner? How well do you know your partner? I mean, a lot has been happening nowadays that it's got me thinking that, do we really know people that well? I feel courtship is, sweet and good, but marriage is like a black market. Once you just dive into it, that is when you know exactly what you've got on. I mean, I have two stories today that I'll be sharing with you that has really got me thinking. Now, before I decided to do this topic, I actually wrote down some things I wanted to share with you on how to best identify who you can, consider marrying. But then these two stories came up and it changed some things in me. And I said, okay, instead of doing that, let me just, talk to you about this. And the first story is about, this happened of recent, I think last week. This lady is an influencer, an online influencer with millions of followers, but she's a Black American, and she's a relationship coach, and she deals with relationship advices and things like that. How best you can spot a good man, the qualities to look out for in partners and things like that. That is what she focuses on. And, along the line, she met a man, and she's always of praises of this man and of how good the man is, how kind the man is, how lucky she is to have the man, how blessed, she is, having a God-fearing husband and things like that. I think they did it for probably maybe weeks or few months. I'm not too sure. And they got married. From this story, they got married pretty quickly because she was so convinced that she has got the right one. Now, something happened of recent. She came out during last weekend to say the worst that you could hear. She said she found out that her husband had been molesting the two children, two girls. One is a 4-year-old and the second one is a 2-year-old. And she said she was trying to birth the 4-year-old, and she found blood on a private part. It wasn't much, but and she said she was trying to she then sat the girl down and started questioning her, and who touched you, who did this, who did that. The girl was like, Daddy. And she's, it was like maybe she didn't hear it well, and she rephrased the question, and the baby answered back and said, Daddy. And she said immediately she didn't even know what to do. She took the girl and the other baby to the hospital to check if it was actually, SA. And she found out that not just the 4-year-old, but the 2-year-old girl too was being SA. And if you know what I mean by SA. And our word came crashing, because this is a man who, according to her, being a relationship expert, a relationship coach, had done all the thorough investigation, or what would I say, thorough examination on. And to our best knowledge, this is the best kind of guy you could have or you could get married to. And not him just being, a crazy guy. He happens to be the worst of the worst. From an angel to a devil. That is the kind of guy she ended up with our experiences, with our wisdom, with the knowledge that she has on relationships. Now, it got me thinking that if someone like that could end up with the worst of the worst, how well do we think we know our partner? Or how well can we vouch for another person? And this, while I was thinking of this story, I remember the one that happened about 2 months ago that this Nigerian man shared online. And he said, according to him, we didn't hear from the wife, but according to him, he said he had a quarrel or disagreement with his wife, and it was big. They were shouting and all that, and he said eventually they made up, but then he didn't know what prompted him to go check his wife's phone, because normally he doesn't do that. But he said after the disagreement that he started feeling a sort of way towards his wife. He couldn't explain, and that he took the wife's phone and checked, and he said he found a chat between her and her ex, which they shared between themselves the very night he fought with his wife. And according to the chat, he said the wife told the ex that she regrets marrying her husband, and the ex told her that, why are you still married to him then? Come to me. I've already told you countless times that I am here for you and you can just leave him. And she was like, oh, I'll just expect me to hop and leave my marriage like that when kids are involved. And the ex, going back and forth with the ex then said, then frame him for trying to molest your daughter. And he said initially, from the conversation, the chat, he said the wife disagreed, but then the guy, with much back and forth, she eventually agreed to do it. And he said when he saw the chat, it was like something hit him so hard, he couldn't believe what he was reading. And he said he took a screenshot of all the messages. And he said he didn't say anything at that moment because he was trying to, wrap his head around what he just read, and trying to see if the wife would truly go through what the ex proposed. And he said not too long after that, they had another issue. And before you know it, the wife, called his family, our family, and lied on him that he tried molesting, or he molested their daughter. Now, he said none of his family members believed, or our own family members believed, and it became an issue. They started calling, cursing, saying they were inviting the police into the matter and things like that. And he said after that, he forwarded the screenshots of the conversations she had with her ex, and he forwarded it to all the family members, his and hers. And when the wife saw that the man had, initially he has been, denying it, but they didn't believe him until he released the evidence. So when the wife saw that he had evidence against her, she started begging and asking the man for forgiveness and saying she didn't know what came over him. And the man was like, okay, fine, you can go to your ex. I have released you. And she said she didn't want to go to her ex. She still want to be married to the man. She just wants the man's forgiveness so they can move on. And the man was like, hell no. Hell to the no. Over his dead body, will he allow that? But then his mother, like the man's mother, insisted that he forgives the woman and take her back. That if he decides to divorce her, that does he know the kind of woman he will bring in at the later on? What if she's also crazier than the wife, or what if she's a devil in disguise that that she could do worse to the children or to him? And because the mother had a failed marriage, she didn't want her son also to have a failed marriage. Now the man says as much as he adores and cherishes and loves his mother, he can't see a way out to what she's asking him to do. Like still living under the same roof with a woman who lied on him that he molested his only child. His only female child. That there's no way he could, move past that. Now, the man, just shared it online and said that it was at a crossroad. He doesn't know what to do and things like that. And, the story, as much as I actually wanted to cover the story then, talk about it. But then I didn't know what advice to give the man, because I didn't know if to tell the man to run, because a woman like that can end up killing you. But then there's no assurance, or let me say, there's no proof that she can change. We still have some people who've done bad and who still end up changing, and there's some people who never repent. They just keep doing that evil. So there's no, I don't know if to tell him to move on or forgive, because it's deep. You can't trust anyone. You can't vouch for anyone. You don't know their hearts. So with these two stories, it really hit me like, do we really know who we're involving ourselves with? We've seen lots of marriages where people come out, but the wife, the husband, they come out and say, oh, you weren't like this when we got married. She wasn't like this before we got married. Sorry, you weren't like this before we got married. And it's like there's this thing about marriage that just brings out that inner buried character in you and just exposes it. During courtship, we're all sweet, we're all cuddling, so sometimes, or most times, we tend to cover our anger, we tend to cover, bottle up so many things. But marriage have a way of bringing those things out. It has a way of unleashing the real you. So sometimes when we think we've got the right one, when we think we know who we're ending up with, sometimes we just get so shocked and like, how in God's name did I end up with this person? That's why you see some people, especially today's marriage, few months they're divorced, few months they're separated. So I'm like, how can we really, identify who, or be too sure about who we're getting married to, or who we are getting into a relationship with? I just think, number one, we can still stop being on the lookout of the things we want in a partner. But at the same time, I think it's deeper than that. I think we need to be more calmer in making some certain decisions when it comes to relationships or marriages. I don't want to be spiritual today, but then I think we need to be prayerful as well, because you can never be too sure about who you're trying to spend the rest of your life with. We can never be too sure. I think we only know about ourselves. We don't know about the other person. We can only hope that all that comes out of their mouth is the truth, and all that is shown to us is the real them. So if you're trying to get into a relationship today, or you're about getting married, please try and observe more clearly, and try and do some certain things to see some certain reactions. Now, I'm not telling you to go overboard, please. Do not test the patience. Do not go overboard. But then I think we need to start carrying out some little tests here and there to see their reaction. A little, because we have a way of disguising or bottling or pretending when we're in relationship. And if you have any advice or opinion on this story, probably maybe you want to advise them on what to do or something, you can drop it in the comment section. Or if you have experienced something like this, or someone who wants to share the story, please, you can also share it with them, and they can send us an email at connectingthemindandsoul@gmail.com, or any of our social media platform. It is CMS_ with Jumoke. And also V Radio. I want to thank V Radio for partnering with me on this. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate all your efforts. So please follow them as well. V Radio on all of the platform, on Facebook, they're on TikTok, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram. And until I see you next, stay shiny, stay beautiful, and please don't look for trouble. Bye.